Welcome to Read and Learn English. I am so happy you are here today. In this video, we are going to talk about something very important in life: falling and rising again. Everyone falls. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone fails at some point. Maybe you failed an exam, forgot an English word in a conversation, lost a game, or felt embarrassed in front of others. Falling is normal. It is part of being human. But what truly matters is not the fall itself. What matters is how we rise again. Rising after a fall is what makes us stronger, wiser, and braver. Let me share a short story. A student studied very hard for an important English test. She wanted to do well, but when she got her results, she had failed. Her heart sank. She felt sad and thought, "I am not good enough. I will never learn English." She could have given up. Many people in her situation do. They stay down, feeling helpless, thinking that failure is the end, but she chose a different path. She took a deep breath, wiped her tears, and said, "I will try again. I can learn from this." She studied a little every day, practiced speaking with friends, and reviewed her mistakes. Slowly, she improved. She passed her next test, and more importantly, she felt confident again. This story shows the contrast between two ways of facing failure. Some people give up and stay down. They let failure define them. They avoid challenges, feel powerless, and wait for luck to help them. Others face their fears, learn from mistakes, and rise again. They grow stronger with every challenge, every fall, and every small win. Rising is not easy, but it is always worth it. Every fall becomes a teacher, every challenge becomes an opportunity, and every effort moves us closer to success. Falling and rising is not only about exams or games. It happens in every part of life. Maybe you forgot words while speaking English, or maybe you felt nervous giving a presentation. Maybe someone laughed at you, or you made a mistake that seemed too big to fix. These moments can hurt. They can make you feel small or weak, but they are also the moments that shape you. Each fall carries a lesson. Each challenge carries an opportunity. Rising teaches patience, courage, and resilience. It reminds us that we are capable of more than we think. In this video, we are going to explore all these ideas together. We will talk about how to understand your falls, how to handle emotions, how to rebuild confidence, and how to create habits that help you rise higher every time. We will learn practical steps for life and for English learning. You will get simple exercises you can do every day to improve your English and strengthen your mindset. We will also discuss the importance of support and how the people around you can help you rise faster. By the end of this video, you will not only learn English, but you will also learn important life lessons that will help you face any challenge with courage and hope. Let's think about the student again. She failed, yes. But her failure was not the end. It was the beginning of something new. She discovered the power of small steps, consistent practice, and a positive mindset. She discovered that failure does not define her. Rising does. And this is the truth for all of us. No matter how many times we fall, we can rise again. We can keep learning, keep trying, and keep growing. Every fall is temporary. Every rise is permanent. As we go through this video, I want you to feel safe and understood. This is a place where mistakes are normal and learning is celebrated. You are not alone in your journey. Everyone struggles. Everyone falls. What makes the difference is your choice to rise again. And that choice is always in your hands. You can choose courage over fear, action over hesitation, and hope over despair. Every small step you take is a step toward becoming the best version of yourself. I also want to remind you how important it is to practice English every day. Learning English is a journey just like rising after a fall. Mistakes will happen. You will forget words. You may struggle with pronunciation or grammar. But every practice, every sentence you speak, every word you learn is a step forward. Your mistakes are not failures. They are lessons. Rising in English is the same as rising in life. With each small effort, your confidence will grow and your skills will improve. If this video helps you, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read and Learn English. It is an important part of your learning process. By joining our community, you will get more lessons, more stories, and more exercises to improve your English and your mindset. Watching videos, practicing along, and learning from examples will help you rise higher every day. Your journey in English is also a journey in life. Each lesson you learn brings you closer to your goals, and every effort you make today matters for tomorrow. Now, take a deep breath and remember this: falling is normal, but rising is your choice. Every fall carries a lesson. Every mistake carries a chance to grow. By watching this video, practicing English, and applying these life lessons, you are taking your first step to rise stronger. You are learning more than English. You are learning courage, persistence, and resilience. So, let's take this journey step by step. Together, we will explore how to rise after a fall, how to handle challenges, and how to keep moving forward. With each story, tip, and example, you will gain tools to face life and language challenges with confidence. And always remember, every fall is temporary, but your rise can last forever. Welcome again to Read and Learn English. Let's start this journey and rise together. Section 1. Understanding the fall. Have you ever felt like life knocked you down? Maybe you wanted something so much, but it did not happen. Maybe you tried to speak English in front of people, but your voice shook and your mind went blank. Maybe you worked hard for a test, but when the results came, you failed. Or maybe you tried to get a job, but the answer was no. These moments feel heavy. They make us sad. They make us question ourselves. This is what we call a fall. A fall can take many forms. Sometimes it is failure. Sometimes it is rejection. Sometimes it is a mistake. Sometimes it is embarrassment when people laugh at you. A fall is not only about what happens outside, but also about how we feel inside. Our heart feels small, our mind feels weak, and we think, maybe I am not good enough. But here is something important. Everyone falls. It is not just you. It is not only people who are weak. Every person, even strong people, even successful people, has moments of falling. An athlete can train for months, but still lose a game. A singer can practice a song but still miss a note on stage. A student can study but still fail an exam. A worker can give their best but still lose their job. Falling is not strange. Falling is normal. Let's imagine two people. The first one is Anna. Anna studied hard for her exam. She wanted to make her parents proud. On exam day, she became nervous. She forgot answers and failed. After this, she felt ashamed. She told herself, I am not smart. I am not good. I will never try again. She stopped studying. She stopped dreaming. She closed her books and closed her heart. Her fall turned into a wall that blocked her future. Now imagine another student, Sarah. Sarah also studied hard, but she failed her exam too. She cried. She felt the same pain. But instead of giving up, she asked herself, "Why did I fail? What can I learn?" She looked at her mistakes, made notes, and promised to try again. Her fall became her teacher. The same situation, the same pain, but two very different responses. This is the contrast we must see clearly. When people fall, they can respond in two ways. The first way is ineffective. They hide, they give up, they think they are worthless. This way keeps them down. The second way is effective. They accept the fall, they see the mistake, and they use it to grow. This way helps them rise stronger. Sometimes a fall is not about tests or work. Sometimes it is about people. Imagine you are trying to speak English with friends. You say a word wrong, and some people laugh. In that moment, you feel embarrassed. You may think, "I will never speak again." It is too painful. That is the ineffective response. You stay silent, and your English never improves. But if you choose the effective response, you say, "Yes, I made a mistake." But mistakes mean I am learning. You keep speaking, and little by little, your English becomes better. The laughter no longer controls you. Or think about losing a job. One person may think, "I lost my job, so my life is finished. I am useless." They stop trying, and their life becomes darker. Another person may say, "I lost my job, but maybe this is a chance to learn new skills. Maybe I can try something new." Their fall becomes the first step toward a new path. Falling can also be about loneliness. Sometimes people feel left out, ignored, or rejected in relationships. One person may think, "Nobody wants me. I will always be alone." This is the ineffective response. Another person may say, "Yes, I feel lonely now, but this does not mean I will always be alone. I can grow, I can meet new people, and I can build better connections." That is the effective response. The truth is simple. Falling is not the real problem. The real problem is staying down. If you stay on the ground, the fall wins. If you stand again, you win. Think about a child learning to walk. The child falls many times. If the child stayed on the ground after the first fall, they would never walk. But the child always stands again. And because of this, they grow strong. You were once that child. You already know how to rise. So, the next time you fall, do not ask, "Why me?" Instead, ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this?" Do not see the fall as the end. See it as a beginning, because a fall is not proof of weakness. A fall is proof that you are trying, and trying is the first step to winning. Now that we understand the fall, let's look at the mindset that helps us stand again. Section 2. The power of mindset. When we fall, the first battle begins inside our own mind. Our thoughts can either lift us up or push us down. This is why mindset is so powerful. Mindset is the way we think about ourselves, about problems, and about the future. If our mindset is weak, the fall feels heavier. If our mindset is strong, the fall becomes lighter, and we can rise again. There are two main types of mindsets: fixed mindset and growth mindset. A fixed mindset says, "I failed, so I am not good enough. This is who I am, and I cannot change." A growth mindset says, "I failed, but this does not mean I am a failure. I can learn, I can improve, and I can change." The difference looks small, but in real life, It changes everything. Let me tell you a story. There was a young boy named Amir. Amir wanted to learn English. He joined a class and tried to speak, but when he opened his mouth, he made mistakes. His classmates laughed a little. Amir felt so embarrassed. That night, he looked in the mirror and said, "I'm bad at English. I will never be good." This is the voice of a fixed mindset. It makes you believe that your ability is permanent, like a stone that cannot be changed. But then something happened. Amir's teacher gave him a small book with short English stories. She said, "Don't worry about being perfect. Just read one page every day. You are not bad at English. You are learning English." At first, Amir did not believe her, but he decided to try. Every day he read one page. Slowly, he understood more. Slowly, his sentences became stronger. Months later, he spoke in front of the class. He still made mistakes, but this time he smiled and kept speaking. The other students listened, and nobody laughed. Amir had discovered a growth mindset. Do you see the difference? The fall was the same. Amir felt embarrassed and weak, but his response changed when his mindset changed. With a fixed mindset, he was ready to stop. With a growth mindset, he stood up again. The truth is simple. Mindset does not change the fall, but it changes how we rise from the fall. Let's look at another example. Imagine two students fail the same English test. The first student says, "I failed because I am stupid. I can't learn." That is fixed mindset. The second student says, "I failed because I did not study enough. I can learn more next time." That is growth mindset. The test is the same, but the future is different. The fixed mindset closes the door, while the growth mindset opens the door. Here is a practical tip you can use every time you fall. Change your words. Instead of saying, "I can't," say, "I'm learning." Words shape thoughts, and thoughts shape actions. If you say, "I can't," your brain stops. But if you say, "I'm learning," your brain begins to search for a way forward. Small words, but big power. Think about when you were a child learning to ride a bicycle. The first time, you fell. If you had said, "I can't," you would never ride. But most children say, "I will try again." They believe falling is part of learning. That is why they succeed. You can use the same mindset for English, for work, for life. Of course, changing your mindset does not mean you will never feel pain. You will still feel sad, embarrassed, or tired after a fall. But mindset gives you strength to move through the pain. A fixed mindset says, "This pain means stop." A growth mindset says, "This pain means grow." That one small change can transform your whole life. Let me give you one more story. Maria loved music. She wanted to sing, but when she sang, people told her she was not good. She felt crushed. She stopped singing for years. One day, a friend told her, "Your voice is not bad. It is just untrained. You can learn." At first, Maria did not believe it, but slowly she practiced. She took lessons, she trained her voice, and over time, she improved. The same voice, the same person, but a new mindset turned her fall into a rise. So here is the truth you must remember. Your talent, your skill, your strength is not fixed. You are not a tree stuck in one place. You are a learner, and learners can grow. Every mistake is not the end. Every mistake is a step forward. Every fall is not a wall. Every fall is a bridge to a stronger you. Whenever you fall, ask yourself this question: what can I learn here? Do not focus on, why did this happen to me? Focus on, how can I grow from this? That one question moves you from fixed to growth, from weak to strong, from hopeless to hopeful. But mindset alone is not enough. Even with a growth mindset, we must still act. We must take the first small step forward, even if it feels scary. And that is what we will explore next. Section 3. Small steps, big changes. When people fall, many of them think they must make a big comeback. They believe they must do something huge, something dramatic, to rise again. But the truth is very different. Rising after a fall does not usually happen in one big jump. It happens in many small, simple steps. Think about learning English. Imagine a student who fails an English test. He feels sad. He feels like giving up. He thinks, if I cannot pass now, maybe I will never pass. That is the voice of despair. He waits for a big wave of motivation to come, but it never arrives. He tells himself, I will study when I feel ready. Days pass, weeks pass, and nothing changes. This is the ineffective path, waiting, hoping, but not moving. Now imagine the same student taking a different path. He says, I do not need to do everything today. I only need to do something small. So he takes one page of his English book and reviews it. Just one page. The next day, he reads another page. Slowly, the pages add up. After 1 month, he has studied 30 pages. After 2 months, 60 pages. Each small step feels easy, but together they create big change. This is the effective path, not waiting for motivation, but moving with action, even when the action is small. There is a story about a man who was sick for many years. His body became weak. He could not run, he could not lift heavy things, and even walking felt difficult. At first, he thought, I am too weak. I will never be strong again. But one day, he decided to try something simple. He walked for only 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. The next day, he walked again. Day by day, those 5 minutes became 10, then 15, then 30. Months later, he was walking for an hour every day. Slowly, his body grew stronger, his mind felt lighter, and his life changed. What gave him strength again? Not a big action, but many small, repeated steps. This is the secret of small steps. They look tiny, but they have great power. Small steps are easy to begin. They do not scare you. They do not make you quit. And when you repeat them every day, they become habits. Habits build your future. Here is the contrast. Ineffective people wait for a perfect time. They say, I will start when I feel ready. I will begin when I have more energy. But effective people know that the perfect time never comes. They say, I will start now, even with something small. And that small action creates movement, and movement creates more energy. Think about water drops falling on a stone. One drop looks weak, but many drops falling day after day can make a hole in the stone. Your small steps are like those drops. They may look weak at first, but with time, they change everything. Let's bring this back to English learning. If you read 1 English page a day after 1 year, you have read 365 pages. If you listen to 5 minutes of English every day, after 1 year, you have listened for more than 30 hours. If you write only 1 short paragraph daily, after a year, you have written a whole book of your own thoughts. Each small step feels easy, but the result is huge. Sometimes people ask, but what if I fall again while taking small steps? The answer is simple. Then you take another small step. Falling once more does not erase your progress. Every page, Every walk, every small action is still part of your growth. Even if you miss a day, you can start again the next day. Small steps forgive mistakes. They always give you another chance. Here is a practical tip. Choose one small action you can do today. Do not wait for tomorrow. If you want to get better at English, read one page tonight. If you want to feel healthier, drink one glass of water or take one short walk. If you want to rebuild confidence, write one sentence about something good you did today. Do not try to change everything at once. Choose one small thing and repeat it. That is the beginning of big change. Remember the story of the sick man who started with 5 minutes of walking. At first, people laughed at him. They said, 5 minutes is nothing. But he knew the truth. 5 minutes was his doorway to a new life. Your doorway may look small too, but when you walk through it, you open the path to something greater. So do not wait for a miracle. Do not wait for a big chance. Begin where you are, with what you have, and with one small step. That step will give you the strength for the next step. And before you know it, you will look back and see how far you have come. But sometimes, after a fall, our emotions are heavy. Even when we know about small steps, our heart still feels full of pain. So let's learn how to deal with those emotions. Section 4. Handling pain and emotion. After a fall, the hardest part is often not the failure itself, but the pain that follows. Pain is invisible, but it feels heavy inside the heart. It can be sadness, disappointment, embarrassment, or shame. When someone loses a job, fails a test, or gets rejected, their heart often whispers, "You are not good enough." This voice hurts more than the event itself. And if we ignore this pain, it grows bigger. Imagine a young woman who tried to apply for a new job. She prepared her CV, practiced her answers, and walked into the interview with hope. A week later, she received an email. "We are sorry, but you are not selected." She read it again and again. Tears filled her eyes. She cried, feeling small and worthless. At first, she wanted to hide her pain. She wanted to pretend she was okay, but pretending only made the sadness deeper. One night, she took out a notebook and wrote every feeling she had. "I feel rejected. I feel weak. I feel like a failure." Writing did not erase the pain, but it gave her heart a place to breathe. Slowly, the weight inside her began to lift. Later, she told a close friend about her rejection. Her friend listened kindly and said, "This does not mean you are not capable. It only means this job was not the right one." Those simple words gave her strength to try again. This story shows something important. Facing emotions is more powerful than ignoring them. Many people make the mistake of hiding their feelings. They say, "I don't care," but inside, they do care. They say, "I'm fine," but inside, they are not fine. This is the ineffective way, closing your heart, locking the pain inside, and pretending it does not exist. But the pain does not disappear. It stays, waiting, and it grows heavier. The effective way is different. It is to face the pain, to look at it, and to express it in a healthy way. You can write it down. You can talk to someone you trust. You can sit quietly and breathe deeply until your heart feels lighter. When you face your pain, you take away its power. Instead of being your enemy, your pain becomes your teacher. Here is a practical tip. Keep a small notebook only for your emotions. When you feel sad, angry, or ashamed, open the notebook and write what you feel. Do not judge your words. Do not try to make them perfect. Just write honestly. For example, I failed my test and I feel stupid. I feel embarrassed. I feel scared to try again. By writing, you take the heavy feelings from your heart and put them on paper. Once they are outside of you, they become easier to understand. Another tip is to talk to someone who cares. It can be a friend, a family member, or even a teacher. Sharing your pain with another person does not make you weak. It makes you human. Sometimes just hearing the words, "I understand," can heal a broken heart. Breathing deeply is another simple but powerful tool. When you feel heavy emotions, your body also feels tense. Your shoulders rise, your chest feels tight, and your mind races. Take a moment to pause. Close your eyes. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Then exhale for 4 seconds. Repeat this a few times. You will notice your body relaxing and your emotions will slowly calm down. Breathing connects your body and your heart. It reminds you that you are safe, that you are still here, and that this moment will pass. Let's look at the contrast again. The ineffective response is to bury emotions. People who ignore their feelings often become bitter or cold. They lose energy, and they stop trusting themselves. The effective response is to face emotions directly. People who do this may still cry, may still feel pain, but they grow stronger afterward. They use emotions as energy. Their sadness teaches them compassion. Their anger teaches them courage. Their shame teaches them humility. Think about rain. If you try to deny the rain, you only get wet and uncomfortable. But if you accept it, you can take an umbrella, walk carefully, and even enjoy the sound of drops falling on the ground. Emotions are like rain. You cannot stop them from coming, but you can decide how to respond. It is important to remember, feeling pain does not make you weak. Crying does not mean you are broken. Being sad does not mean you are hopeless. It means you are alive and you care deeply. Even the strongest people in the world cry. Even the most successful people feel rejection. What makes them strong is not the absence of pain, but the way they handle it. Here is a gentle exercise you can try tonight. Sit in a quiet place. Put your hand on your heart. Close your eyes. Say softly, "I am hurt, but I am healing. I am sad, but I will rise again." Repeat it until you feel warmth in your chest. This simple practice can comfort your heart when words from others are not enough. So, when you fall, do not run from your emotions. Welcome them, express them, and learn from them. Your emotions are not your enemy. They are part of your journey, and they can give you strength to continue. When our heart is calmer, we can look at failure not as the end, but as a lesson. Section 5. Lessons hidden in failure. Every fall in life has a secret message. At first, it feels only painful. It feels like loss, rejection, or shame. But hidden inside every mistake, there is something powerful. A lesson. The problem is that many people stop at the pain and never search for the lesson. They see failure only as a wall, not as a door. Yet if you look carefully, you will see that every fall is not the end. It is a teacher in disguise. Think about Thomas Edison, the man who invented the light bulb. People remember his success, but not everyone remembers his failures. Edison tried thousands of times before he finally created a working bulb. Some people laughed at him. They said, "You have failed again. Why don't you stop?" But Edison answered, "I have not failed. I have found thousands of ways that do not work. His lesson was clear. Every failure gave him feedback. Every mistake showed him what not to do next time. Without these failures, there would be no light bulb. This is the power of looking for lessons. But sadly, many people do the opposite. They fall once and say, "This proves I am weak." They fail an exam and say, "I will never pass." They try to speak English and forget words, then think, "I am stupid." This is the ineffective response. They treat failure as proof of their limits. When they do this, they stop learning. They stay down. The effective response is different. It is to ask, "What can I learn here?" Imagine a student who failed an English test. At first, he feels embarrassed and upset. But instead of saying, "I am bad at English," he looks at his mistakes. He notices he lost points on vocabulary and spelling. This shows him exactly what to review. The test did not prove he was hopeless. It gave him a lesson. Focus more on vocabulary next time. By seeing failure as feedback, he grows. Let's take another example. Picture a young man who tried to give a speech in English. In the middle, he forgot some words. His face turned red and people laughed. If he reacts the ineffective way, he says to himself, "I can't speak in public. I will never try again." But if he reacts the effective way, he says, "I forgot words today. That means I need to practice memory and prepare more examples." He can then review, prepare, and come back stronger. The laughter he faced becomes his teacher. Failure is not a mirror showing who you are. It is a window showing what you can improve. If you touch a hot stove and burn your hand, the lesson is not, "I am weak." The lesson is, "Next time, I must be careful." The pain protects you and teaches you. In the same way, every mistake in life gives feedback. Here is a practical way to find lessons. After any failure, take a notebook and ask 3 questions. 1. What happened? 2. What did I do well, even if it was small? 3. What can I do better next time? Writing these answers helps you turn pain into progress. For example, if you failed a job interview, your answers might be, "What happened? I was too nervous and forgot some answers." "What did I do well? I arrived on time and smiled politely." "What can I do better?" Practice answering common questions with a friend. Now, instead of walking away feeling useless, you walk away with a lesson plan. Let's return to contrast framing. The ineffective view says, "Failure is the end." It means, "I am not good enough." This view keeps people trapped in fear. They avoid trying again because they believe the result will always be the same. The effective view says, "Failure is feedback." It shows me what to fix, what to change, and what to practice. This view gives people energy. They see failure not as a punishment, but as a gift. Think about a baby learning to walk. The baby falls again and again. If the baby had the ineffective mindset, it would say, "I fell. Walking is not for me. I will crawl forever." But babies do not think like that. They fall, they cry, they try again. Every fall teaches them balance. Finally, one day, they take their first steps. Adults can learn from this. Falling is not proof of weakness. It is proof you are moving. Sometimes the lesson is not about skills, but about life itself. For example, losing a friend may teach you the value of kindness. Missing an opportunity may teach you the importance of timing. Getting rejected may teach you patience. Life's hardest moments often carry the deepest wisdom. So, the next time you fail, pause and ask, What is this teaching me? Do not run from the lesson. Do not close your eyes. Search for the hidden wisdom. You will be surprised at how every fall can become a step forward. Remember this truth: success is built on failure. The greatest athletes, inventors, leaders, and teachers all learned from their mistakes. Without mistakes, there is no growth. Without failure, there is no wisdom. Every fall is part of the journey. Every fall is a teacher in disguise. If you respect the lesson, you rise stronger. If you ignore the lesson, you fall again for the same reason. And once we see the lesson, we can rebuild our confidence. Section 6. Rebuilding confidence. When we fall, our confidence is often the first thing that breaks. We start to doubt ourselves. We hear a small voice inside that says, "You cannot do it. You are not good enough." Confidence is fragile. It can be damaged by failure, rejection, or even one moment of embarrassment. But the good news is this: confidence can also be rebuilt, step by step, like a wall made of strong bricks. Let's begin with a story. A young woman once tried to give a short speech in her class. She wanted to speak clearly, but halfway through, she forgot her words. Some of her classmates laughed. She felt her face grow hot, and she ran out of the room. From that day, she avoided speaking in public. Each time the teacher asked for volunteers, she stayed silent. This was the ineffective response: hiding from challenges, staying small, and letting fear control her. But later, something changed. She realized that hiding was not helping her grow. She decided to face her fear in small ways. First, she stood in front of her mirror at home and practiced saying, "Hello, my name is..." Then, she practiced one short sentence every day. Later, she practiced with a friend, then with 2 friends, then with her class again. Each small step gave her a small win. Slowly, her confidence grew stronger. Finally, she stood in front of the class once more and gave her full speech. People clapped, and she smiled. Her confidence had been rebuilt brick by brick. This story shows us 2 paths: ineffective, avoiding challenges, running from fear, and letting failure define you. Effective, facing small challenges, celebrating progress, and building confidence through action. The contrast is clear. Hiding makes your world smaller, but facing challenges makes your world bigger. How can you rebuild confidence in your own life? The first step is to start small. Do not try to jump to the top in one day. If you failed an English exam, do not force yourself to read a huge book tomorrow. Instead, review one short passage today. If you were embarrassed while speaking English, do not avoid speaking. Try saying one sentence to yourself in the mirror. Step by step, your confidence will rise again. Here are some practical exercises you can use. 1. Mirror talk. Stand in front of a mirror every day. Look at yourself and say one positive sentence such as, "I am learning," or "I am growing," or "I can do this." At first it may feel strange, but soon these words will enter your heart. 2. Celebrate small wins. Keep a notebook where you write down your progress. Did you learn one new English word today? Write it. Did you practice speaking for 5 minutes? Write it. These small wins may seem tiny, but together they build a strong wall of confidence. 3. Face one small challenge daily. Each day, do one thing that scares you a little. Say hello to a stranger, ask a question in class, or practice speaking English with a friend. Each small challenge makes you braver. Confidence grows through action. Many people think confidence is a gift, something you either have or you don't, but that is not true. Confidence is like a muscle. If you exercise it, it grows. If you ignore it, it becomes weak. The only way to make it strong is by using it. Let's return to contrast framing. Some people believe, I will rebuild my confidence when I finally succeed. So they wait and wait and wait, but they never start. This is the ineffective path. Others say, I will take one small action today, even if I feel afraid. They do not wait for perfect confidence. They build it through experience. This is the effective path. Think of a person learning to swim. If they stay outside the pool and wait until they feel brave, they will wait forever. But if they step into the shallow water and practice slowly, they gain courage. Each small moment in the water builds confidence. Life works the same way. Confidence also grows when we learn to forgive ourselves. After a fall, many people keep punishing themselves. They repeat in their mind, I am a failure. I am stupid. I cannot do it. This voice destroys confidence. Instead, learn to speak kindly to yourself. Imagine you are talking to a close friend. Would you tell your friend, you are hopeless? No. You would say, you can try again. I believe in you. Speak to yourself with the same kindness. Let's make it simple. Ineffective. Avoid challenges. Hide from mistakes. Speak with harsh words to yourself. Effective. Face challenges step by step. Celebrate progress. Speak with kind and positive words. If you follow the effective way, your confidence will grow like a seed watered every day. At first, the seed is small. You cannot see much change. But with time, it becomes a strong tree. Confidence is the same. It grows with patience, practice, and care. So, the next time you fall, remember, your confidence can rise again. Start small. Face one challenge. Celebrate one win. Say one kind sentence to yourself. These small actions may look simply, but they will build a new version of you, stronger, braver, and ready to rise again. But confidence alone is not enough. To rise after a fall, we also need strong habits, because habits build the new version of us. Section 7. Building new habits. When we fall, we often think that a big change will save us. We dream of a new life, a new success, a big victory. But the truth is this: big change is built from small habits. Habits are like invisible steps. Each step may look small, but together they form a ladder. And with this ladder, you can climb out of the fall. Let me share a story. There was a student who failed his English exam. He felt sad and hopeless. At first, he wanted to quit. But then, instead of waiting for inspiration or luck, he decided to build a habit. Every morning before breakfast, he studied for just 15 minutes. Some days he was tired, some days he wanted to give up. But the habit was simple and short, so he kept going. After a few months, he noticed something amazing. His vocabulary grew, his grammar became stronger, and his confidence returned. The small daily habit made him rise stronger than before. This shows us the contrast between two ways of living. Ineffective, waiting for inspiration. Some people say, I will study when I feel ready. I will exercise when I feel motivated. I will practice English when I have more time, but that time never comes. They wait and wait and wait, and their life does not change. Effective, creating simple, repeatable routines. A person says, I will do this small action every day, no matter how I feel. Slowly, this routine becomes a habit. The habit builds strength, and strength builds success. Habits are powerful because they remove the need for daily decision-making. Imagine you want to brush your teeth. You do not think about it. You do not wait for motivation. You just do it. Why? Because it is a habit. In the same way, if you build a habit of learning, you will rise without needing to fight with yourself each day. Let's talk about English learning habits you can start today. The first habit is 5 minutes of listening. Every day, choose one short audio, maybe a podcast, a story, or even a song. Listen for just 5 minutes. Do not worry if you do not understand everything. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency. If you listen daily, your ears will get used to English sounds, and your brain will slowly become familiar with the language. The second habit is 1 sentence of speaking. Every day, say 1 sentence in English out loud. It could be something simple like, "Today I feel happy," or "The weather is sunny." This takes less than 1 minute, but if you do it every day, you train your mouth and your confidence. Over time, 1 sentence becomes 2, then 5, then 10. Small steps turn into big progress. The key is to keep habits small and clear. Do not say, "I will study English for 3 hours every day." That is too heavy, and soon you will stop. Instead, start with 5 minutes. Start with 1 page. Start with 1 sentence. Small habits are easier to repeat, and repetition is what creates change. Let's use another story. A man became sick and could not exercise for months. When he finally felt better, he wanted to be strong again. At first he thought, "I must run for 1 hour every day." But his body was too weak. He failed, and he felt discouraged. Then he changed his plan. He started walking for just 5 minutes a day. It felt easy. The next week, he walked 10 minutes, then 20. After months, he could run again. His strength returned, not from big effort, but from small, repeated habits. This is why I say, habits are your ladder to climb out of the fall. They are small steps, but they always take you upward. Even if you are tired, even if life is heavy, habits carry you forward. Let's return to contrast framing. Ineffective, waiting for a big wave of motivation, depending on feelings, giving up when energy is low. Effective, designing small habits that are easy to do, repeating them daily, and letting them carry you even when motivation is weak. Which path will you choose? Another tip: connect new habits to old ones. For example, after brushing your teeth in the morning, listen to 5 minutes of English. After dinner, write 1 English sentence in your notebook. By attaching a new habit to something you already do, it becomes natural. Also, remember to celebrate. When you complete your daily habit, smile and say to yourself, "I did it." This small celebration gives your brain a reward. The reward makes the habit stronger. Over time, you will feel proud of your progress. One more reminder: habits take time to grow. At first, you may not see results. You may think, "This is too small. It is not working." But just like a seed underground, change is happening even if you cannot see it. If you keep watering the seed, one day it will grow into a tree. If you keep practicing your habit, one day you will see the results. So, let me ask you, what habit will you start today? Maybe 5 minutes of listening, maybe 1 sentence of speaking, maybe writing 1 new word in your notebook. Choose something small and start now. The habit will carry you upward. Habits are not about being perfect. They are about being consistent. They are your ladder, your foundation, your secret power. With them, You can rise stronger after every fall. But sometimes, even with good habits, rising alone feels hard. Let's talk about people who can lift us up. Section 8. The people around you. Rising after a fall is not always a journey you can take alone. The people around you can either lift you up or pull you down. Their words, their energy, and their belief in you can make a huge difference. Choosing the right people is as important as choosing the right habits. Let me tell you a story. A young man had failed an important English test. He felt sad, ashamed, and lost. He stopped studying. He avoided his classmates and even ignored his teacher's advice. For months, he stayed down, feeling like he could never improve. Then, one day, a friend noticed his struggle. This friend did not scold him or tell him he was weak. Instead, the friend said, "I believe in you. Let's study together for just 10 minutes today. You can do this." That small encouragement changed everything. Slowly, the young man started to practice English again. He smiled, he spoke, he learned, and eventually he passed his next test. One person's support was the bridge that helped him rise. This story shows the contrast between two types of people. Ineffective, people who are negative, critical, or discouraging. They may laugh at your mistakes, question your dreams, or drain your energy. Surrounding yourself with these people makes every fall heavier. You may start to believe their words and stop trying. Effective, people who are supportive, encouraging, and kind. They do not remove the difficulty, but they give you strength to face it. They cheer your small wins, guide you, and remind you of your value. Support does not have to come only from close friends. Mentors, teachers, or even people online can lift you. A mentor is someone who has walked the path before you. They can give advice, encouragement, and perspective. Friends who share your goals can practice with you, celebrate your small wins, and remind you why you started. Surrounding yourself with positive influences creates a protective circle around your growth. Here are some practical ways to find support. First, join a study group. If you are learning English, find people who want to improve too. Meet online or in person, even for 10 minutes a day. Share questions, practice speaking, and celebrate small achievements together. The energy of the group will push you forward. Second, watch motivational content. Follow YouTube channels, podcasts, or online communities that inspire growth. When you feel discouraged, a few minutes of motivational words can remind you why it is worth rising again. Motivation is like fuel. You cannot rely on it all the time, but it can help you start your engine when energy is low. Third, share your goals with someone who believes in you. Tell a friend, mentor, or family member, "I want to practice English for 5 minutes every day," or "I want to speak in public once a week." When you share your goal, it becomes real. The person who believes in you can check in, encourage you, and remind you to continue. Accountability and support together create strong growth. Contrast this with those who stay isolated. Ineffective people may say, "I will do this alone. I don't want anyone to see me fail." Isolation may feel safe, but it keeps your energy low. You may stop trying because there is no one to lift you when you fall. Effective people reach out, ask for help, and welcome support. They understand that rising is easier when others carry part of the load. Think about the metaphor of climbing a mountain. If you climb alone, every step is heavy. You stumble, you struggle, and the fall feels harder. But with a guide, a friend, or a climbing partner, the journey becomes lighter. They encourage you when you are tired, help you find the right path, and celebrate each step. Life after a fall works the same way. Sometimes, support comes in unexpected ways. A kind word from a teacher, a short message from a friend, or an online comment from someone who believes in you can change your mindset. Notice these small acts. Accept them. Let them lift your heart. You do not have to carry the burden alone. Also, remember that support is a two-way street. Encourage others when you can. Share your small wins and listen to their struggles. By building a positive community, you create a circle of growth where everyone rises together. Finally, choose your circle carefully. Avoid those who bring constant criticism, jealousy, or doubt. Surround yourself with people who cheer your effort, guide your growth, and remind you of your potential. You cannot always control life, but you can control who is with you on your journey. Support is not a replacement for habits, mindset, or courage, but it multiplies their power. Habits build your strength, mindset builds your vision, courage gives you action, and support lifts you when your energy is low. Together, they form a strong foundation for rising after a fall. And remember this, even one supportive person can change your path. Do not underestimate encouragement. A kind word, a shared goal, or a small gesture can be the bridge from despair to growth. And finally, when we rise again, how do we keep moving forward without falling back? Section 9. Staying strong after rising. Rising after a fall is an incredible achievement. You feel stronger, braver, and more capable. But the journey does not end when you rise. The next challenge is staying strong, keeping the progress you have made, and avoiding the trap of falling back into old patterns. This is where resilience meets wisdom. Let me tell you a story. A young runner was training for a marathon. One day, during a long race, she tripped and fell hard. She scraped her knees and felt embarrassed as other runners passed her. At first, she thought about quitting. The fall hurt, not only physically, but also in her confidence. But she remembered why she started. She got up, took slow breaths, and finished the race. It was not her fastest time, but she finished. That day, she learned the first lesson. Falling does not mean the end. Rising matters more than speed. After the race, she could have gone back to old habits. She could have skipped training, thinking, "I will never fall again, so I need to be careful." That would have been the ineffective path, repeating mistakes, avoiding risks, and staying small. But she chose the effective path. She reflected on the fall. She realized she had been careless with her warm-up and had focused too much on speed, not technique. Using this lesson, she trained smarter. She stretched properly, ran at a sustainable pace, and practiced balance exercises. The next race, she was stronger and fell no more. She had learned from the past, and that knowledge made her progress permanent. This story shows the difference between two approaches after rising. Ineffective. Ignore lessons, repeat old mistakes, and hope for luck. This approach leaves you vulnerable. You may rise once, but without awareness, the next fall will feel heavier. Effective. Reflect on past experiences, learn from mistakes, and adjust your actions. This approach strengthens you. Each fall becomes a teacher. Each rise becomes more solid. Maintaining progress requires daily attention. One practical tool is a journal of progress. Write down your small wins, your challenges, and your lessons learned. For example, after practicing English for 5 minutes, write, "I learned 3 new words today. I spoke 1 sentence. I felt nervous but kept going." When you read your journal later, you see how far you have come. It reminds you that even small steps matter and builds your belief in yourself. Celebrating small wins is also crucial. Some people only celebrate big achievements, like passing a test or giving a perfect speech. But this overlooks the tiny victories that create lasting change. Each small action you take, practicing 1 page of English, speaking 1 sentence, completing 1 habit, deserves recognition. Smile, say, "I did it," and let yourself feel proud. These moments are fuel for continued growth. Another key practice is reminding yourself of past resilience. Think about the times you fell before and managed to rise. Remember the student who failed but studied daily, the speaker who forgot words but practiced in the mirror, or the runner who tripped but finished the race. Every past recovery is proof that you can rise again. When challenges appear, you do not start from zero. You start from experience, strength, and confidence. Contrast again. Ineffective people think, "I rose once, I am done now, I can relax." They stop learning, stop reflecting, and stop improving. Effective people know that rising is a process, not a one-time event. They use every experience, every success, and every stumble to build a stronger foundation. They grow more resilient, not by avoiding challenges, but by facing them with knowledge and courage. Sometimes staying strong means setting boundaries. Avoid situations or habits that caused past falls if possible, and replace them with safer, smarter routines. For example, if speaking English in a large group caused anxiety, start with smaller groups and gradually increase. This is not avoiding growth. It is strategic learning. You are designing a path that allows progress without unnecessary pain. Think about a tree that has been bent by the wind. If it grows straight from the start, a strong storm can break it. But a tree that bends, learns, and strengthens its roots will survive future storms. Staying strong after rising is like that tree. You use lessons from past falls to create stronger roots and a more flexible, resilient self. Finally, remember this truth. You may fall again. Life will challenge you. But each time, you will rise faster. You now have experience, habits, mindset, and support to lift you up. Your falls no longer define you. Your rises define you. Practical steps to stay strong. Keep your progress journal. Celebrate every small win. Review past lessons. Practice daily habits. And remind yourself of your strength. Each action, no matter how small, reinforces your resilience. Over time, rising after a fall becomes natural, even easier, and more confident. Staying strong is not about never failing again. It is about building a life where every fall teaches, every rise strengthens, and every day moves you closer to your goals. You are learning, growing, and becoming unstoppable. Let's close with a powerful reminder for your journey. Welcome back to the final part of our journey. We have walked together through the steps of rising after a fall. We started by understanding the fall, learned about mindset, small steps, handling emotions, lessons hidden in failure, rebuilding confidence, building habits, and the importance of support. Then, we talked about staying strong after rising. Now, It is time to bring everything full circle and remind ourselves of the truth. Everyone falls, but rising again is the real victory. Think back to the opening story, the student who failed an important English test or the athlete who lost a game. At first, it seemed like the end of the world. The student felt hopeless. The athlete felt embarrassed, but both of them chose to rise. The student studied a little every day. The athlete trained smarter and stronger. And slowly, step by step, they transformed failure into progress. They discovered something powerful. Falling does not mean you are weak. It means you are learning. Falling is a natural part of life. Everyone experiences it. Everyone makes mistakes, loses, or faces rejection. Even the most successful people you admire have fallen many times. The difference between those who stay down and those who rise is not luck. It is choice. The choice to see failure as a teacher, to face pain instead of hiding, to build confidence and habits, and to surround yourself with supportive people. Rising is an active decision, and it is the decision that shapes your future. When we rise after a fall, we gain more than just success. We gain wisdom. Each fall teaches us something new about ourselves, our strengths, and our weaknesses. We learn patience, resilience, and perseverance. We learn that mistakes are not the end, but signals guiding us toward growth. We also learn kindness, to ourselves and to others. When we remember how it felt to struggle, to feel embarrassed or weak, we develop empathy. We understand that everyone has their own battles. Rising after a fall makes us stronger, wiser, and kinder. Let's revisit the ideas we practiced in this video. First, mindset, seeing failure as feedback instead of proof of weakness. Second, small steps. Tiny actions repeated daily lead to big changes. Third, handling emotions, facing pain, expressing it, and using it as energy. Fourth, lessons in failure. Every mistake is a teacher in disguise. Fifth, rebuilding confidence, taking small actions, celebrating wins, and speaking kindly to yourself. Sixth, habits, creating simple routines that carry you forward. Seventh, support, surrounding yourself with people who lift you up. Eighth, staying strong, using past lessons, journaling, celebrating progress, and remembering resilience. Each step builds on the last, forming a strong foundation for rising higher each time you fall. Now let me give you one final motivational push. Your fall does not define you. Your rise does. You may stumble, you may lose, or you may feel weak. But each time you stand again, you show courage, strength, and determination. The moment you rise, you prove to yourself that you are capable. You prove that failure is temporary and growth is permanent. Every fall is an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. Imagine a tree in a storm. Strong winds may bend it, rain may beat it down, but it keeps growing. Every storm makes its roots stronger. Every storm teaches it balance. In the same way, life's falls make you stronger. They teach you balance, patience, and resilience. And when you rise, you stand taller, more prepared, and wiser than before. For our English learners, remember that these lessons also apply to your language journey. Mistakes in speaking, forgetting words, or mispronouncing sentences are just falls along the way. Each correction, each practice session, each step forward is your rise. Learning English is not about being perfect. It is about growing, trying again, and celebrating every small win. Every fall in learning is a chance to rise higher, stronger, and more confident. So, I want you to carry this truth with you. Life will not always be easy. You will face challenges. You will stumble. You will fall. But you now have the tools, the mindset, and the knowledge to rise again. You know how to handle emotions, find lessons, rebuild confidence, create habits, and seek support. You are stronger than your fears and wiser than your failures. Rising is not just possible, it is inevitable if you choose to act. And finally, I want to leave you with a warm invitation. Keep learning English with this channel. Practice your skills while learning these life lessons. Speak, listen, write, and repeat. Use every video, every exercise, and every story as a step to rise higher, in life and in language. Remember, each fall in English, like every fall in life, is a teacher in disguise. Your rise will always be greater than the stumble. If this video helped you, share it with someone who needs encouragement. Practice English with it. Write down your lessons, speak your sentences, celebrate your wins, and always remember, every fall is a chance to rise higher. Your journey does not end with failure. It begins with your choice to stand, step by step, stronger, wiser, and more resilient than before. You are not defined by the fall. You are defined by your rise. Keep rising. Keep learning. Keep growing. Your best days are ahead.